I think we're live. Hi, Lumineers. How are you? We are hanging out in my private little office today, and Colleen is on Facebook. Say hi, Colleen.
Hey, everybody.
Yay. Now, some housekeeping notes. I launched my new website, jamiebutlermedium.com. That's where you can find me. It's all clean and pristine and easy to manage. Now, I know I'm supposed to be getting zen because Grace is going to come talk to you. Colleen will be reading your questions and Grace will be answering you. And today's topic is spiritual depression. So if this is your first time engaging into a trance channel, just know that, well, if you're sensitive, you're going to feel a little something. But I promise you're going to stay in your body. I'll be the only one who checks out. But my advanced mediumships class students last night would have said that because I had some of them trance channeling and leaving their body. It was the most amazing event last night. I promise I will be teaching that class again, but I just kind of don't know when yet. I'll get it on the calendar. Okay, from this, here I go. If you can see energy, you can see energy through electronics. It does happen. Oh, I gotta take off my stuff. La, la, la. I take off my rings and anything that I can because it helps with the movement of energy. Anything that you're wearing, color-wise, fabric-wise, has a vibrational pattern to it, a frequency. And so it interrupts and it contributes to your energetic field. Less is best when you're channeling, trance channeling, or even meditating or trying to get neutral or centered. Less is best. Yay for you nudists. Colleen's like, oh, what? What is she saying? Calm down.
Well, I was having someone say they couldn't hear, and I was making sure that everybody else could.
Oh, can everybody else hear?
Well, I want to make sure before Grace gets it out.
Make sure.
I'm getting yeses.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Crank your volume up.
Okay.
With that said, if you can see, check out the right side of my body. Dyslexic people, that's this side. And look between my ear and my shoulder. And you might see a shift or shadow or sparklies. It kind of happens differently for everybody. And for those of you who are sensitive, Grace tends to have an energetic footprint of lightness and a simple joy, almost like a safe and a healing feeling, which I personally really appreciate. All right, here we go. Ooh, you're going to watch the clock for me? I am so out of it right now. Here we go. Bye, guys. I gotta tell you, I love this feeling before channeling because it feels like there's a warm, ooey feeling on the inside of my body and like gets to my chest, and my chest feels like it's breathing even though I'm not taking a breath, like it gets real expansive. I just thought I'd share that. Somewhere, someone in the world is going, too much information, will you just do it? Here we go. Hello.
Hi, Grace.
I do believe, is that mine?
It is yours.
Lovely. I know we don't have my proper tea set. It is in the other room. We are hiding out in the office today. It just happened to be that's what's happening. Thank you for my tea. Thank you for my well wishes and a lovely lumineer who sent me proper tea. Yes. I give a warm shout out to you. I would love to know, can I use your name? I got proper biscuits to go with my tea. Absolutely. If you like, I set them over there if you want to go get them and I can show. Because receiving gifts, even though I'm not physically here, is quite a delight. Oh, this is nice.
That's so sweet.
Isn't it sweet? Can I see? Look. That, Americans, is the proper way to have your tea. And this is what tea really looks like. It's not a loose leaf, which is what I'm used to, but delicious. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I promise next time this is what I'll be eating. It is too bad that they don't invite me into these business meetings that they have. You know, one went long right before this because I would really enjoy being present in Jamie's body and enjoying a little bit of this.
We would like to have you there.
Would you like to have me there?
Absolutely. I know you're there anyway, but we'd like to have your voice there.
Wow. I enjoy having my voice present. So today, I wanted to talk about spiritual depression. Now, at any time you do have a question, please send it in to Colleen, as she's going to read it to me. It is girl power today. With that, Andrew's not present today. He is out for the day. I should say the evening, but it's not an evening, is it? It's morning.
It's morning.
Well, fancy that. So with that, spiritual depression is, unlike your mental depression and your emotional depression, spiritual depression is a feeling of distance and loneliness. But it's not with the words that are in your head, and it's not necessarily with the emotions in your heart. Do you know when we say you're spiritually lost, or when you're having the feeling that you belong somewhere else and you can't find home? Have you had that feeling? That some of you look up into the stars and you ask to go home. And it's not that you're asking to return to heaven or to die, but you're asking to go to the place where you most belong. Because those of you that are extremely sensitive and extremely empathic on earth have a difficult time being human. But it doesn't mean that you're suicidal. It doesn't mean that you have a lack of respect of human life or humankind or even humanity. It means that you have an understanding of a life beyond the one that you're living, and you miss it. And in that missing and in that longing, there is a separation feeling which can create the depression. So mental depression, if we want to break this down, are pretty much with concepts and understandings. Let's say you can't reach your goals of having success or getting your name on a billboard or getting that promotion, and you're mulling it over, and you just feel like you're trapped, like you can't express yourself. Now, an emotional depression could come with anxieties. It could come with, I am grieving or in bereavement, or I'm not being heard or understood. But it's very much a human function and human quality. But then there's a depression beyond that, an emotion beyond those two, that is, I don't belong here. This is not my time. Have any of you felt like you've been born in the wrong decade? Have you had that, Colleen?
I have had times that I don't feel like I'm home, but I don't know about born in the wrong decade.
Yes, well, I always hear Jamie say she's born in the wrong decade. She should have been a child of the 60s, she says. But she's not. Missed it by a decade. But that feeling of needing to be somewhere else entirely, this is what I call a spiritual depression. And what happens is those who are becoming enlightened, sensitive, empathic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentience, all of these words, when you're using this on a day-to-day basis, as strong as you are using your five senses, which is a natural thing to do, it is not abnormal, when you're using it as common as your five senses, you're going to come across these feelings of not fitting in, as if others don't hold the same integrities or same morals, or you have this very hard time understanding why there is meanness, why there's anger, why is there hurt. When you know without doubt, and I'm talking about the knowing without doubt, I'm not talking about the knowing that is based in curiosity, extremely different. The knowing without doubt shows me that you're using this sense as a reality. And sometimes these senses do not fit in your human reality or within your human dimensional planes. Are you with me, Lumineers? Use your little fingers and type in. I love hearing from you, and I have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for calling on me, for allowing me to assist you, for allowing me, welcoming into your life. I have been sitting with you. holding you, encouraging you to continue to be the best version of yourself. So with this said, in spiritual depression, how? Now that we've loosely understood what it is, how do we come out of it? And like with any emotion, depression for me is an emotion. You don't really step out of it. What you do is you have degrees of it. You have degrees that are acceptable. That it no longer triggers you to spend time focusing on it mentally or spend time pushing your emotions into it because it needs attention. But rather you can experience it and set it aside. This is the level of success that I'm asking you to reach. Now, some of you are out there and you've already been taking your medications, whether it's your anxiety medications, your depression medications, and even a lot of you, your marijuana. Yes, well, that was Eric's suggestion on healing quite anything. He says it absolutely needs to be in your first aid kit no matter what. I slightly agree with the fellow. Now, you're doing this self-medicating or medicating under a physician's guidance. And you might be curious, am I actually having a spiritual depression? So some depression comes from a chemical imbalance. So if you're taking the medication and you feel spot on as you're taking it, I encourage you to define what you're experiencing as a chemical imbalance. And of course, always be in good communication with your physician, be it a psychiatrist or a medical doctor or an endocrinologist, whatever be it, you hired them to help you understand your status of health. So please communicate in depth with them about your depression. Say, I need to define it. Is this a chemical imbalance or is it a weak constitution? And a weak constitution for me is very inappropriately titled, but that for me shows that it is an emotional depression. It is not a mental one. Though you might not have the right words, it is your emotions that follow. So if they are strong, then you do not have a weak constitution. They will uphold the thoughts in your head. Are you with me? Do they say yes? We're good. Now, in looking at if you're on medication and it's a weak constitution, then I would encourage you to identify that. Is it chemical? Is it heartfelt? And if it's heartfelt, then find a therapist, a life coach that you feel extremely safe with. And if some of you feel threatened by receiving therapy face-to-face, then I encourage you to use the telephone. Use the telly, call the life coach, have the conversations on the phone, and work it out. Understand what is making you and what choices are you going to use to create a stronger belief system in you. Where's your trust with yourself? Because a pill every month will not give you the trust within yourself. You must do the work, little ones. Do the work. So beyond emotional, there is something that's greater where you feel absolutely lost and disconnected, and that you're looking for a home, you're looking for a place to be. Or you look at all the people in your life and you don't feel like you can really connect to them. Disassociation. Now, granted, a lot of physicians and psychotherapists and therapists would call this a mental, do you call it discapability? Like a handicap. That there's something in your head that hasn't built the neural pathways for you to understand what it's like to have faith, trust, or build a relationship with someone else. But my loves, I'm saying there is another explanation. And this explanation is that you have identified yourself so steadily with the life you were beyond this life. So now it's time to be human. You made the choice to come here. You made the choice. Now let's find out why. Let's enjoy the reasons why you're here. There are lots of beautiful things about Earth. I'll list them if you're puzzled. Eric Metu says he loves touch. That was his big thing. Hand-holding, hugging. What I meant about Earth is that you get a lifetime where you get to forget. You are relieved of your knowledge. You are considered a blank slate. You have the opportunity to grow in the way that you hand make for yourself. That is a very valuable experience, because when you come home, when you come my way, you know who you are. You know all the lives that you've chosen to live. You know everyone else. There are no secrets. There are no competitions. There are no arguments. It's not needed where we are. So to experience it, we come here to Earth. It's a classroom. It's an extreme sport. It's fun. It's whatever you like to call it. But identify why you're here. And that might mean some of you need to change your career. Because some of you are sitting at home saying, I love traveling more than anything else in this entire world. Yet, I sit at a cubicle for 10 hours a day, and I work for a company that I barely believe in. So why are you punishing yourself? Begin now to align yourself with the things that you love in this world. Become a travel agent. Become a flight attendant. Become a journal, a writer about traveling. Move to a different country. Do what you need to do. Fight for yourself to have your joy and your passion. And when I say fight, there is a healthy level of fighting where it does not create brick walls, that it does not push people over because you're considering yourself the only thing in the world that matters. Because in many ways, you are the only thing that matters. But it is your responsibility to take care of yourself as well as all that you are. And all that you are is all of us. We are all connected together. Let's say your greatest dream, your greatest passion is dolphins. Yet you live in the Arizona desert. Not many dolphins come in your way, are they? Well, why aren't you advocating for yourself? Saving your money and making your plans, be it a 1-year goal, a 5-year, a 10-year. Go connect to that which brings you joy. Hand make your life. That's why you're here. To experience emotions. All emotions are based in love. And you'll find that spiritual depression, it eases because you've decided to fulfill your need. And not say, well, everybody chooses to go to work, everybody chooses to go to college, everybody chooses to get married, to have 2.5 kids and 1 pet and a house with a mortgage. You don't need to be that. And at the same time, I'm asking you not to be that. I'm asking you to enjoy other people for the decisions that they have made. Enjoy the decision of the beggar on the street, because it may be their passion, their need to have no responsibilities in this life, and that they do rely on the goodness of others, that they are not taking advantage of you. Who's to know their story? Let's leave judgments behind. Let's give ourselves kindness as we're making the decisions to align ourselves with what our passion, our love is, to alleviate this spiritual depression. Now, what if you are doing your passion, but yet you're saying, my Gracie, I'm still experiencing this? Then I say to you, is it that You have one foot in my world and one foot in yours. And if that's the case, who can live a full life halfway in one place and halfway in the other? Who? Because you're divided. So I'll ask of you, bring your foot back into this human world. Have both feet here, but there is no need to close the door. You can enjoy both places and be human. But keep both feet here. This was your commitment. This was your promise you made to yourself. Now, in having both worlds present, to alleviate this sensation of being left behind, not being able to connect or associate to mankind, to feel to the level of depth that others do, which, by the way, my little Lumineers, no need to compare yourself to how other people feel. That, my friend, is competition. In comparing, it is considered a competition and it's not needed. So, you are doing your passion. You have both feet in this world now because you've agreed to the agreement. And you want to enjoy both worlds. So I say to you, have a meditation discipline. Have time strictly set aside for you to meditate. And your meditation could be as wild as listening to Enya and Zumba-ing for a full hour. It doesn't have to be your sit still. But give your humanness time to be on the other side. Be it deprivation tank once a week, be it through your massage, be it through running. Do you see what I mean by saying, if you have both feet in the human world, I need your head and your heart and your soul on the same page and agreeing to engage in an activity that will get you away from the human routine, from the human achievement, goal setting, pros and cons, yes and no's, blacks and whites, and goal setting. Be to hike in nature, hugging a tree for 30 minutes as people stare at you and wonder if you've lost your mind. Give yourself this time. It also could be that you take a month and you go to an ashram, that you become a certified yoga teacher, that you take lessons in classes, that you allow your intuitive ability, your sixth sense ability, to be seen as equivalent to the other 5 senses that you use day to day. These simple changes can keep both of your feet in your human world and your openness to the beyond. And it can share space in a healthy manner of that way. When you're engaging with your guides, when you're engaging with me, you're at home. It's like craving the sweets all day long, but you only choose to have 1 scoop of ice cream at the end of a day. But it's enough for you. It gives you what you need. This is what I'm saying with spirituality. This is what I'm saying with the beyond and the energy all around. Now, there's some of you that have a unique case and you have a bit of spiritual depression, but it's really not of what you consider the spirit world. But you say multi-dimensional beings or aliens. You have a sense that you belong somewhere in the sky in a particular star, and it calls to you day and night, and that when you look at the stars and the Milky Way, you wish you could walk on air and go home. And for that, for those of you who are in that place, I will share with you, with that much memory of where you've come from, even for those with memory of the beyond, be it through near-death experience or coming in with the knowledge straight from birth, there is a level of responsibility of sharing what you're going through to help the others who do not have these memories to recognize that there is something greater than them beyond who they are. You are our bridges. You are. You are the one who will take all this information and what we joke about being woo-woo or too much, and you bring it into this reality. You are the footmen who bring enlightenment into our societies, into our cultures, into our countries, through your stories. Though it may not alleviate all the spiritual depression that you have, it provides you a platform to be who you are. You will find like-minded people in this way, and you can sit down and you can talk about your multi-dimensional, your alien encounters, and you can talk about your longing to be back into the stars. But now you have friends to lean on. Let's build communities like we are today. Let's be kind to each other. And let's answer your questions. Can you hear her stomach growling?
I cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot.
I can feel it in my body.
Oh, I can feel it mine.
The organ
Pass it on.
rolling and growling. It has been a very long morning, Lumineers. I will enjoy this tea as Colleen can read some questions.
Okay, I have a question from Love Motes.
What a beautiful name.
Love says, I love my freedom. I am a free spirit right here. My job and life is exactly free how I want it to be, except for full-time raising my stepdaughter, whom I love but makes me feel less free, which brings on my depression. Is there a soul contract for us? Am I in the right place? Not knowing only makes me feel more depression and anxiety as well.
Now, I love this concept. When we talk about soul contracts, and love, since you've brought this up, I just want to in general sweep, and then I'll get right back to the point of your question. Now, in soul contracts, some of us would like to believe that our level of difficulty in our life is for a greater purpose. Would you not? That someone who has been murdered, hurt, is for a greater purpose, because that is how our human mind needs to analyze it, to feel as if there is some sense of safety and purpose. Yet, contracts do not need to be designed in that way. We've spoken earlier in other podcasts about how the positive you have on earth and the negative you have on earth, for us, it's viewed equal. They are both great. They are both with reason. Now, love, when you talk about providing care for your stepchild, I know with great certainty that there is love in that relationship. You look at all the people in your life and you don't feel like you can really connect to them. Disassociation. Now, granted, a lot of physicians and psychotherapists and therapists would call this a mental, do you call it discapability? Like a handicap. That there's something in your head that hasn't built the neural pathways for you to understand what it's like to have faith, trust, or build a relationship with someone else. But my loves, I'm saying there is another explanation. And this explanation is that you have identified yourself so steadily with the life you were beyond this life. So now it's time to be human. You made the choice to come here. You made the choice. Now let's find out why. Let's enjoy the reasons why you're here. There are lots of beautiful things about Earth. I'll list them if you're puzzled. Eric Metu says he loves touch. That was his big thing. Hand-holding, hugging. What I meant about Earth is that you get a lifetime where you get to forget. You are relieved of your knowledge. You are considered a blank slate. You have the opportunity to grow in the way that you hand make for yourself. That is a very valuable experience, because when you come home, when you come my way, you know who you are. You know all the lives that you've chosen to live. You know everyone else. There are no secrets. There are no competitions. There are no arguments. It's not needed where we are. So to experience it, we come here to Earth. It's a classroom. It's an extreme sport. It's fun. It's whatever you like to call it. But identify why you're here. And that might mean some of you need to change your career. Because some of you are sitting at home saying, I love traveling more than anything else in this entire world. Yet, I sit at a cubicle for 10 hours a day, and I work for a company that I barely believe in. So why are you punishing yourself? Begin now to align yourself with the things that you love in this world. Become a travel agent. Become a flight attendant. Become a journal, a writer about traveling. Move to a different country. Do what you need to do. Fight for yourself to have your joy and your passion. And when I say fight, there is a healthy level of fighting where it does not create brick walls, that it does not push people over because you're considering yourself the only thing in the world that matters. Because in many ways, you are the only thing that matters. But it is your responsibility to take care of yourself as well as all that you are. And all that you are is all of us. We are all connected together. Let's say your greatest dream, your greatest passion is dolphins. Yet you live in the Arizona desert. Not many dolphins come in your way, are they? Well, why aren't you advocating for yourself? Saving your money and making your plans, be it a 1-year goal, a 5-year, a 10-year. Go connect to that which brings you joy. Hand make your life. That's why you're here. To experience emotions. All emotions are based in love. And you'll find that spiritual depression, it eases because you've decided to fulfill your need. And not say, well, everybody chooses to go to work, everybody chooses to go to college, everybody chooses to get married, to have 2.5 kids and 1 pet and a house with a mortgage. You don't need to be that. And at the same time, I'm asking you not to be that. I'm asking you to enjoy other people for the decisions that they have made. Enjoy the decision of the beggar on the street, because it may be their passion, their need to have no responsibilities in this life, and that they do rely on the goodness of others, that they are not taking advantage of you. Who's to know their story? Let's leave judgments behind. Let's give ourselves kindness as we're making the decisions to align ourselves with what our passion, our love is, to alleviate the spiritual depression. Now, what if you are doing your passion, but yet you're saying, my Gracie, I'm still experiencing this? Then I say to you, is it that you have 1 foot in my world and 1 foot in yours? And if that's the case, who can live a full life halfway in one place and halfway in the other? Who? Because you're divided. So I'll ask of you, bring your foot back into this human world. Have both feet here, but there is no need to close the door. You can enjoy both places and be human. But keep both feet here. This was your commitment. This was your promise you made to yourself. Now, in having both worlds present, to alleviate this sensation of being left behind, not being able to connect or associate to mankind, to feel to the level of depth that others do, which, by the way, my little Lumineers, no need to compare yourself to how other people feel. That, my friend, is competition. In comparing, it is considered a competition and it's not needed. So, you are doing your passion. You have both feet in this world now because you've agreed to the agreement. And you want to enjoy both worlds. So I say to you, have a meditation discipline. Have time strictly set aside for you to meditate. And your meditation could be as wild as listening to Enya and Zumba-ing for a full hour. It doesn't have to be your sit still. But give your humanness time to be on the other side. Be it deprivation tank once a week, be it through your massage, be it through running. Do you see what I mean by saying, if you have both feet in the human world, I need your head and your heart and your soul on the same page and agreeing to engage in an activity that will get you away from the human routine, from the human achievement, goal setting, pros and cons, yes and no's, blacks and whites, and goal setting. Be it a hike in nature, hugging a tree for 30 minutes as people stare at you and wonder if you've lost your mind. Give yourself this time. It also could be that you take a month and you go to an ashram, that you become a certified yoga teacher, that you take lessons in classes, that you allow your intuitive ability, your sixth sense ability, to be seen as equivalent to the other 5 senses that you use day to day. These simple changes can keep both of your feet in your human world and your openness to the beyond. And it can share space in a healthy manner of that way. When you're engaging with your guides, when you're engaging with me, you're at home. It's like craving the sweets all day long, but you only choose to have 1 scoop of ice cream at the end of a day. But it's enough for you. It gives you what you need. This is what I'm saying with spirituality. This is what I'm saying with the beyond and the energy all around. Now, there's some of you that have a unique case and you have a bit of spiritual depression, but it's really not of what you consider the spirit world. But you say multidimensional beings or aliens. You have a sense that you belong somewhere in the sky in a particular star, and it calls to you day and night, and that when you look at the stars and the Milky Way, you wish you could walk on air and go home. And for that, for those of you who are in that place, I will share with you, with that much memory of where you've come from, even for those with memory of the beyond, be it through near-death experience or coming in with the knowledge straight from birth, there is a level of responsibility of sharing what you're going through to help the others who do not have these memories to recognize that there is something greater than them beyond who they are. You are our bridges. You are. You are the one who will take all this information and what we joke about being woo-woo or too much and you bring it into this reality. You are the footmen who bring enlightenment into our societies, into our cultures, into our countries, through your stories. Though it may not alleviate all the spiritual depression that you have, it provides you a platform to be who you are. You will find like-minded people in this way, and you can sit down and you can talk about your multi-dimensional, your alien encounters, and you can talk about your longing to be back into the stars. But now you have friends to lean on. Let's build communities like we are today. Let's be kind to each other. And let's answer your questions. Can you hear her stomach growling?
I cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot.
I can feel it in my body.
Oh, I can feel it in mine.
The organ
Passed it on.
rolling and growling. It has been a very long morning, Lumineers. I will enjoy this tea as Colleen can read some questions.
Okay, I have a question from Love Motes.
What a beautiful name.
Love says, I love my freedom. I am a free spirit right here. My job and life is exactly free how I want it to be, except for full-time raising my stepdaughter, whom I love, but makes me feel less free, which brings on my depression. Is there a soul contract for us? Am I in the right place? Not knowing only makes me feel more depression and anxiety as well.
Now, I love this concept. When we talk about soul contracts, and love, since you've brought this up, I just want to in general sweep, and then I'll get right back to the point of your question. Now, in soul contracts, some of us would like to believe that our level of difficulty in our life is for a greater purpose. Would you not? That someone who has been murdered, hurt, is for a greater purpose, because that is how our human mind needs to analyze it, to feel as if there is some sense of safety and purpose. Yet, contracts do not need to be designed in that way. We've spoken earlier in other podcasts about how the positive you have on earth and the negative you have on earth, for us, it's viewed equal. They are both great. They are both with reason. Now, love, when you talk about providing care for your stepchild, I know with great certainty that there is love in that relationship. You are not saying that I feel burdened and I do not love her. But when you feel burdened, it can lead to resentment. So what's happening is you are not honoring your own contract and your own boundaries. So in looking at your personal situation, there is no contract that you be cuffed to the situation of care provider for the child. But it is under your right and your freedom, and I like that you use the word, your freedom to delegate, to finding care providers for the child so that you can have your time that you need for yourself. So it is a balance, because you are considered to be the mother, whether you want to call it pseudo-mother, stepmother, but the care provider. So what care provisions can you do and still have a sense of freedom? Take those and then delegate for someone else to come in, be it a hired nanny, be it after-school programs, be it something else to engage this child in keeping her safe, healthy, and happy, so that both of you can have extremely fulfilling lives. But to say, is there a contract that I must remain disciplined to the level of degree of attention that I'm giving in this current moment? That is no.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
So Nicole Kidd
Hello, Nicole.
Grace, how do we know when it's time to move forward alone without a partner? How do I know that staying is serving God and my higher purpose?
So, Nicole, you're mentioning, how do I know? So this is a very logical terminology, but I think you're just using the words because that's what your English language has. So I think you mean knowing in an all-over sense with your heart and your soul. When you come to the crossroads of this, I would like for anyone in this position to mark off, am I considering all of my needs? Am I being heard, loved, respected? And sit down with those needs. And if you don't know what needs are, please get on your Google and move your fingers and research a list of needs. And write down what has not been met. And then ask yourself, Nicole, have you advocated for yourself for those needs? And if you have not, then I ask of you or anyone else in this situation to take a deep breath and begin to advocate for those needs. It might surprise you. Love is a fickle thing. It might simply be that your partner just needed to hear you say, I need this, and it needs to come this way. Do you hear me? And your partner says, my love, I had no idea, and I would love nothing more but to give you that. Or your partner might say, I don't know what you mean. I've been doing that for you. I cannot give you any more. And then for you, Nicole, you will know without doubt that you have advocated for what you need, that you have covered your bases, because needs are emotional needs. Needs are emotions unmet. And that if your partner cannot give it to you, then it is with a great sadness that you will need to provide those for yourself and carry on. Now, to anybody who's listening who's in an abusive relationship, that is quite a different discussion. Abusive mentally, emotionally, or physically. You're in survival mode. You're not living. And so if you're in survival mode, you must leave to take care of yourself, because the environment you're in is not allowing you to do so. Does this answer your question, Nicole? I hope they stay to listen. But it does record, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We're recording for the show as well, for Vimeo.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question from Shanna.
Hi, Shanna.
She says, much gratitude for your presence, Grace.
Thank you, my love.
Any advice on how I can keep the joy from connection to spirit? I'm so easily pulled out of it. Any tips for when I'm in the thick of it? Angry people, exes, crowds, especially if I can't escape. I literally get ill from it.
Yes, you speak for many, many people. Thank you so much for standing up and presenting this question. And ill indeed. Well, not only does this happen to many people, but it's happening to people who don't want to recognize it. Who say, well, I'm just not strong enough, that's why it's happening. I'm just not maintaining my boundaries, that's why it's not happening. But I'd like to get to the root of it. So how do you maintain that joy with all that is, the beyond, the heaven, the spirits, the God, the whomever, insert your label that motivates you? How do you keep it clean and real? Because like she says, in crowds or with exes or with angry people, and sometimes strangers, what happens is that you're working in a very human body, and it has its own visceral reactions. Now, it is much easier to change a thought than it is to change a tire, is it not? Energy in thought, energy in soul, energy in emotion is much easier to change than the visceral reaction of the body. So it comes with a discipline. If you can get your heart in the right place, your head will follow. Your endocrine system will then follow with the releasing of hormones, which your body then can physically begin to calm itself. Now, of course, Shannon, there are techniques and band-aids and quick fixes that I'm sure you've already tried, such as listening to a good song, taking a breath, walking away, counting to 10, pause. As we say, pause creates momentum. But you were asking, how do I align it perfectly? First, we need to forgive the human body. It does not move as fast as your intuitive, your emotion, and your head. So it's going to be, Shannon, your responsibility to get your heart, your head, your intuitive, these things clean and clear. And to do that, sometimes your head will argue, well, what was your responsibility? What did you allow happen? And if you find you've fixed all those little tweaks and you are indeed all on the same page, yet you still rage with adrenaline, then it's time to start having conversations with the physical body, because it's no longer about your head, it's no longer about your belief system, it's no longer about the trust that you have within yourself and your emotional status. It's about the human reaction and release of chemicals that occurs. Now, we think that our brain is the only thing that generates a response. Did you know that is not true? Not only does our brain generate thoughts as a response, our heart generates an emotional response. We have a cluster of cells right at our stomach that generates response. That's your gut instinct. It's a second brain. Look it up, it's real. So this is what's happening. A lot of us have been trained. Yes, we get our head clear, we meditate here, we get our thoughts aligned, and yes, we know we have emotions, and we get our emotions clear, and we do our therapy, or we take our medications, whatever is needed, and we're good with ourselves here, and we're good with ourselves here. But let's evolve, and let's look at our gut brain, and let's discover how we can use this gut brain to help that visceral response in the human body. And Shannon, when you begin to understand your gut brain and how it works, then by God, you can hold on to that joy that you're talking about that you so easily get pulled from. Because now you are truly in control of your mind, body, emotions, and this all feeds into your soul. Does it make sense? I think it'd be a lovely episode to strictly talk about how to gain control over your gut brain. Can we put that on the list?
Absolutely.
Great.
You ready for another question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I have a question from Ka Hale.
Hello, Ka.
How do we open up the communication path with our star brothers and sisters?
Ka, in opening up communication path to star brothers and sisters, it's quite similar to opening up the path of communication to myself. They reside on different dimensional planes, as do I. And sometimes we do not cross, but we can blend. A lot of people don't like the word blend. Let's look at level of wavelengths. Let's take it a little bit more tedious. Just like you have humans, souls within a body, you in your world also have souls without body, whether you call them ghost or spirit. Your star brothers and sisters have life force or souls within a body in their dimensional planes. And they also have life force outside of their physical bodies on their dimensional plane. A lot of times we don't think about that. You know, we think about having a multi-dimensional visitation, and we think of them as having bodies, and we don't necessarily think of them being a spirit of their dimensional body. And what I would say to you, Carl, is that it is much easier for you to heighten your wavelength, to raise your vibrational qualities, much as what you would do in transcendental meditation, in taking care of your physical body, raising your belief systems, and communicating to the spirit of your multidimensional brothers and sisters in the stars. Now, if you're talking about wanting you as a human body to communicate to them and their physical body, well, then I would say, first thing, secret between you and I, beef up on your telepathic skills, because that is exactly the same instrument and tool that they use. How do you beef up? I like the word beef up. That is not an English terminology. All it reminds me of is cows and steed, and it's just the strangest thing. If you want to strengthen your telepathic, I would play with children because they are good at it. And so what I mean, if you don't have a child, find another adult and do simple tasks. You can even get online like Xena cards. If you might type that in so that they can see the word and do the research. You can print the cards out yourself.
Is it X-E-N?
Z.
Oh, Z.
E-N-E-R, Xena cards. Yes, and you can practice sending signals and receiving signals telepathically just with another human being, because those are the playmates that you have right now. Or sit back to back and have 3 stones in front of you and have the same exact kind of stones in front of the other person, but you can't see what each other is holding. Have one person reach out and grab one of the 3 stones, and have the other person telepathically understand what they're touching and grab the same stone. And it's a muscle to practice. It's a muscle you can build strength, that you can beef up. And if you can do it on the earthly plane, then that's going to be your quickest tool set to communicate to the live multidimensional beings in the stars. Is that good? Well done.
I have a question from Jasmine Divine.
Hello, Jasmine.
She says, good morning, Grace. How can people quiet the noise of doubt and fear?
Of language to support your movement. Please do look at nonviolent communication. And for those of you who are not readers, find a workshop. Find a coach. Polish your skills. You're the only one holding yourself back. And let's leave the word manage to the wayside and be the best versions of ourselves. I do believe Colleen might let me do one more, though I have taken my time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a question. I can't find it right now, but I can relay it. And that question was about how do we share our beliefs, and I believe that it's spiritual beliefs, to people who are not quite as understanding. Do we continue to share them, or do we back off?
How do we share our beliefs to an environment that maybe is not so welcoming? So first I want you to assess, are you safe? Are you physically safe? Because if you're not, then silence is beautiful. And you don't need to speak up. Because you might be in survival mode. And I don't want you to harm your physical selves. But if you are safe and you're with company who does not believe what you are doing, then there are tricks of the trade. Opening up a conversation and sharing. I would love to tell you what I've experienced and what I believe in, but I don't need your approval, and I don't need you to understand me, and I don't need you to believe in what I'm saying. But what I do need is to be heard. Can you just listen to me? So there's a preference. There's a, I'm cutting you loose from all the rolling of the eyes, from the disagreements, from the "you have obviously gone mad," and you're simply asking to listen. And then you can begin to share. And if you see rage or disappointment, stop. Stop and say, "I'm noticing you might be uncomfortable with what I'm saying. I want to remind you, I'm not asking you to accept this. I just know that you're important to me. You're a friend to me, you're a husband to me, you're a child to me, and I love you. And I want you to know I'm not holding you responsible. I just want your ears." And reiterate that you are in a sharing mode, not a "I'm making you believe in me" mode, and not a "I wish you would talk me off this branch that you think is so maddening." You can share in healthy ways. It comes with a lot of words, and you might feel as if you've definitely become some therapist in your communication because there's too many words involved, but with too many words comes a bit of clarity. You're identifying the roles that are happening between you and the listening ears. Take the time. Reinstate, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I want this relationship, and I'm willing to listen to you, and I do not ask for change. I want the same in return. Will you be willing to listen to me and not ask for change? Make a bargain. My little Lumineers, we're all going through great times, massive amounts of joy and excitement, and we all go through dark times, a loneliness of "I wish someone could see my soul and tell me that they understand it and that they love it." Acceptance is a beautiful place to be when you're human. There are those people out there, there are those communities where they don't preach to you. They don't work to change your mind or your heart. They don't defend themselves when you're sharing a story. They love you for who you are. And right now you're finding that community here. Stay in touch with each other. Help each other as you're helping yourself. I cannot express the importance that it is you who are in control. It truly is you. And approach it with great kindness. And we'll continue this conversation. Stay in touch. Send us what you want to talk about, what you want to hear. I'm here for you if you need me. Call me. And with this, we must bid farewell for the moment. Godspeed to you. Thank you for the time. Be well.